Sharkie Gamer here. So today we're taking a look at the Steelseries Shift Gaming Keyboard. So this is the Medal of Honor edition, and as you can see it's got the Medal of Honor artwork and branding. It shows you there an image of the actual Steelseries Shift keyboard with the Medal of Honor key set actually connected. There's the Steelseries Shift logo, and it shows you a bit of a peek there of how the key sets actually work. And it says here, interchangeable key sets, anti-ghosting capability up to 7 simultaneous keystrokes, internal hub with 2 USB ports, Steelseries engine software. On the top, it sort of gives you a little peek at some close-ups of the actual keyboard. Going on to the back, it again shows you how those key sets work, and it shows you a bit of a rundown of the keyboard and some close-ups there, and it has a bit of English here, which I'll read. Designed for convenient and engaging gameplay, the Steelseries Shift Medal of Honor Edition was created in cooperation with Electronic Arts to offer an intuitive keyboard layout as players fight their way to complete Tier 1 missions. The Steelseries Shift is a gaming keyboard designed to change and adapt to real-time strategy, first-person shooter, and massively multiplayer online MMO games through interchangeable key sets. Powered by Steelseries engine software, the Steelseries Shift provides gamers with predefined game mods and an intuitive layout of the most common commands and actions for specific game genres and titles, with functionality to customize every key on the key set, on-the-fly macro recording, and anti-ghosting of up to 8 simultaneous keystrokes. The Steelseries Shift is designed to help in the mastery of any game. The Steelseries Shift Medal of Honor Edition includes the Shift-based, a standard key set for everyday use, and the Steelseries Shift Medal of Honor Limited Edition key set. In conjunction with Electronic Arts, Steelseries introduces the Shift Medal of Honor Edition keyboard, designed to make gameplay convenient and engaging. The keyboard provides labeled command keys for rapid learning, a custom gaming terrain with Medal of Honor shortcuts, and macros for extended game functionality. These features are designed to help immerse players in the game, accelerate game mastery, and help increase a player's frag count. And it's got some features here mentioned as well. Designed for Medal of Honor gameplay, 8 programmable hotkeys, on-the-fly macro recording, multiple media controls, gold-plated audio and headset jacks, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 1 powered, ergonomic design with 3 leg levels and non-slip base, detachable wrist rest, pre-configured keys labeled for movement, communication, and commands, voice key for instant push-to-talk. Key set features include fully labeled shortcuts and macro keys, commands grouped intuitively for ease of use. So everything else is just different language. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up this box now and have a closer look at this keyboard. Alright, so I'm just going to pull everything out and then we'll have a closer look at each of the contents. Okay, so we're going to have a look at each of these things now, bit of a closer peek at them. Okay, so first up you get a whole lot of paperwork here, with a bit of a brief look at these. So you get a Steelseries sticker, which you can stick on your computer or something. You get a little advert for other kind of Steelseries gear. And of course it tells you to download the software from the Steelseries website, which would be the Steelseries engine. And you get a bit of a manual here. The manual only shows very basic information. So it just gives you the basic kind of featured. It's really nothing detailed, and it also goes into different languages. So it's really just a thick book of just basic stuff which you could have read from the box. So really not much information in there. Okay, so let's move on. So this, of course, is the Shift Gaming keyboard, as you can see. First off, this is the cable. So it's a thicker cable, and that's because it's got multiple ports right at the end here. Alright. So you've got two USB ports that are gold connected. So really nice connectivity there. And the reason why there's two to plug this in, one is basically power and the other is connectivity. So the one, when you plug it in, will not only power the LED logo that's just there, but it'll also power the hub on the back, because one of the ports is basically powered, and having one of these actually plugged, a second one plugged in, gives that extra power to make one of those USBs a powered port. So that's why there's two USBs. And you notice there's also two audio jacks here. Well, there's two audio jacks there for a reason. The reason is you can actually plug this into your back of computer for your speaker and microphone, and that way when you connect your headset, you can connect your headset directly to the keyboard. On the back here, as you can see, there was two USB ports, but there's also those audio jacks again. So like I mentioned, you plug those two audio jacks into the back of your computer, into your sound card, and then your headset plugs directly into your keyboard. So it just makes it really easy to plug in your keyboard and everything like that when you need it. Just plug your headset straight into your keyboard. Really nice and convenient, nice to get to and everything like that. So it's pretty cool. And those audio connectors are also gold connected, so they also have good connectivity. And like I mentioned before, you've got two USB ports, and by having two plugs, you get one of those that becomes a powered port, which, you know, some USB devices you plug in, it's really good to have a powered port. It just kind of helps it get enough power when it needs it. Alright, so the next thing you have, of course, is your wrist rest. So here it is. And this, of course, it just connects to the front of the keyboard. On the bottom here, you've got these two areas just there, and this just plugs in between them. Like that. And then that is what it looks like with the rest attached. So it makes a much bigger keyboard, and of course it gives you a bit of rest if you want that. Now, not everyone likes to have a wrist rest, so if you don't like it, of course you don't have to connect it, and it's really easy to pull off. Let's see if I can show this. You can see it there, you just kind of squeeze and it kind of just unclips from that connection. Like that. Alright, another customer thing to make this more comfortable for you, of course, is on the bottom of the keyboard here. You've got these little feet here to adjust the height of the keyboard, but you've got three height levels. So you've got them down completely, you've got it up so it's higher, and of course you've got a smaller leg in between there, so you have a bit of a mid-range between that and between it being flat. So you can adjust this to whatever height you prefer, whether it be the highest or the medium. So it's a pretty cool little feature there, and it's very adjustable, so you can adjust to the exact height that you want to have it. Alright, so going on to the keyboard itself. So the keyboard has some really cool features. We won't look at the key set straight away. On the side of the actual keyboard base here, you've got basically media controls. So you've got your skip songs, volume up, volume down, mute, everything like that, play, pause. So those are pretty cool to have on there, so you can control your music if you're listening to it. So it's pretty cool on the side. It's a bit out of the way, but easy to get to when you need it. And the buttons feel really nice to press as well. On at the top of here, you can see these extra keys here that are numbered 1 to 8 and then 1 to 3, and there looks like a red dot. Well, basically these are your hotkeys. So all these keys are basically programmable. You can actually assign macros, and with this one up here, this is actually allows you to actually record macros on the fly. So this allows you to actually record all your macros for these top keys on the fly when you're gaming or when you're in Windows, whenever. You don't have to have the software open to configure those on the fly. So it's a pretty cool feature. And I'll just explain it a little bit more because the manual actually doesn't cover these hotkeys very well. And I had to like play around and trial and error to get them right. So basically how it works is, in particular, these keyboard has certain areas of the keyboard that it can have up to 3 layers programmed to it. What does that mean? Well, one layer is your primary layer, which is basically just your standard layer of keys. But then you've got 2 extra layers of actual programmable. So you've got the bar mode and you've got the pad lock. So bar lock and pad lock basically give you 2 extra layers of programmable keys. So you can have the first 8 on the primary level, then you can have the second 8 on the bar level, then you can have the third 8 on the pad level. So it just allows you to have those extra layers so you can actually have multiple actual modes. And how do you switch between bar and pad? Well, on the button here, just up the top, you've got bar lock and you've got pad lock. And those things allow you to configure. And if you've noticed, it says pad underneath there, and if you look here, on the num keys, you've got the P everywhere. So you've got like P10, P11. That stands for pad. So if you have pad lock, you can also configure the num keys as well. So that's a second layer on them. And of course, you see up here next to the F keys, you've actually got Bs underneath them, and they are for bar lock. So you can have a second layer of configuration on the F keys if you've got bar locked turned on. And that same bar and pad lock affect these hotkeys, because that way you can have multiple levels that you can actually record on the fly using these. So what that 1, 2, 3 means is basically your 3 levels, your bar, pad, or your standard. Alright, now 3 is actually the primary level, well that's bar and that's pad. Now to record these on the fly, you actually have to press this record button, press what layer you would actually like to record in. So for instance, if this is primary, you have it on 3, and then you press the button which you want to actually record that to. So if you press 1, then this actual light down here will start flashing, whether it be bar or pad, or this one down here, depending on which layer you've selected, which is the 1, 2, 3. One of them will start flashing, which lets you know you can now start recording your key presses, which in case then you can start typing keys, whatever you want, and that'll start recording it. When you're done, you press the record key again, and that'll basically finalize the recording. So it's a pretty cool feature because you can record macros on the fly whenever you want. You don't have to open the Steelseries software to do it. So it's kind of handy if you think, oh, I need this macro and I didn't think of it before, and you don't really want to open up Steelseries software. Well, you can just do it on the fly. So it's really nice feature, really easy to do, and it basically works for these hotkeys up the top here. So pretty cool little thing that they've added. Really nice extra feature. And the layers are pretty smart as well. Having those extra layers really adds the amount of keys you can actually configure to those hotkeys, which is pretty cool. Alright, going along, the Steelseries logo here, that actually gets illuminated, and it is the only part of the keyboard that really is illuminated. Of course, you do get the LED indicators down here for caps and all the bar and padlock and stuff, but the Steelseries logo is the only thing that's actually illuminated. So that lights up, so it looks alright. None of the other keyboard is illuminated though. Alright, so going into the key sets. Now the key set plugged in at the moment is actually the standard key set. Alright, so it just looks like a regular keyboard. All the keys are the same. It says shift up the top there. It looks exactly like a regular keyboard. But you've probably, if you've never seen the Zboard or you've never seen the shift keyboard before, you're probably wondering why I keep saying key set. Well, key set basically means that it can actually swap this layout of keys. So at the moment it's a standard key set. On the side here, you've got a little clip. If you pull that clip off, like that, you can actually lift this key set right out of the base. Alright, so that's the standard key set. All standard keys. And of course you notice that because it actually folds, it's got a split space bar there. So it's a 2-part space bar. And that folds up, and you're left with the base that's basically empty. So this is the base. It's got these little domes which basically keys connect to. And of course at the top here is where the actual chip of the key set connects to the base of the keyboard. So that's just the empty base. Now with this particular set, you get the standard key set, but you also get the Medal of Honor limited edition key set, which is this one just here. And you can see on the actual keys there's actually second functions written on them, and that's basically because it's pre-configured best to work with Medal of Honor. So you've got shortcuts like change vision, melee, sprint, hold breath, objectives, crouch, prone, slide, first weapon, second weapon, pistol, hellfire missiles. It's got all these use, enter, grenade, HUD, chat team, chat all. So it's got all these cool little things on there. Of course it's got the movements as well. And going over to the other side of it, because most of it's pretty standard, on the other side it's a special little area specially designed for Medal of Honor. You can see the artwork there. And it's got special functions like it's got the pause, objective, screenshot, dynamic HUD, zoom, map, melee, sprint, reload. It's got your directional keys here. So it's got all the features right in one spot in case you would prefer to use this side rather than using the keys on the standard kind of layout. But the keys are there in case you want to use WSAD, or you can use it on this side where all the commands are there ready to use and pre-configured for the game. So how does this connect to the base? Well, once it's folded up like this, you start at one end, you have it clipped in like that, you unfold it slowly, putting the second in first, and then the final one goes down, and then this little clip snaps into place. And now that Medal of Honor key set is connected to the Shift keyboard. So it looks pretty cool, and it snaps into place really easily. And of course you can type normally on this keyboard as well. The keys work fine as a normal keyboard. So you can have this connected to play Medal of Honor, when you shoot a rally, and then of course you can actually use it as normal typing for chatting or normal kind of everyday Windows use as well. So whatever you prefer. So it's very customizable in that regard. Now this is not the only key set that it's actually able to get for this keyboard. So you've got the standard and you've got the Medal of Honor key set, but you can get two other key sets from the Steelseries Shift line. So I'll just unplug this one, and then we'll go through the other key sets that are available. Okay, so the first key set is the Mmo Key Set. So it comes in this box, and of course you buy it separately from the keyboard. That's what it looks like. Now the version I bought was actually the European version. I had trouble getting the Mmo Key Set, so at the end of it I just settled to buy a cheap European version rather than get the English version, because I just wanted one for my set, basically, to complete the key set. So you'll notice when I actually unbox this, it will be in European. It will be basically the European style, something you would probably see in Germany or something like that. Alright, so that's the back of the box. Of course shows the key set. And this particular key set is designed for MMOs. So it's meant for your massively multiplayer online games, something like WoW or something like that. And of course you get the standard sort of paperwork with it, which is not much, it's just a sticker and a kind of basic kind of guide of how to put the key set on and everything. So nothing really much in the documentation. Okay, so I'll just have to pull this off. Plastic out of the way. Alright, so this is the Steelseries Shift Mmo Key Set. So for the most part it looks like a standard key set, but it does have extra commands on it, just like the other one, this Medal of Honor key set. But as you can see, especially when we go to the side here, it's got your arrow keys and that. And normally on the English version, you'll actually have English commands. Like I said, I bought the European version because I couldn't find another one. You've actually got it in German. You can see there. But normally this would have English commands if you buy the English version. But this is basically idealized towards your MMO games, because you've got all your common MMO commands right here. Of course you can also program these as well, but that's why it's called the Mmo Key Set. And again, you plug it in the same way, just like that, and it goes in the Shift keyboard. Alright, and there's one other key set that actually was released, so we'll go on and have a look at that one. And this is probably going to be a very popular one. It is the World of Warcraft Cataclysm. So that's the front of the box. And of course it shows the key set once again. Alright, take this one out. And again, it comes with the paperwork and stuff, but like I said, there's not much really in it. Okay, so this is the World of Warcraft Cataclysm key set. So you can see up the top there, it's got different commands. It's also got separate commands on the keys themselves. So it basically has all action buttons, different movements, weapons. It's got a lot of different keys. And then of course, going onto the side here, you've got all your main keys as well. Of course, you've got action bar and everything like that. Auto run, walk, follow. You've got all these different commands. Show, high, UI, exit vehicle, inspect, and invite. You've got raid chat, party chat, guild chat. You've got all these chat buttons. Stay, whisper, yell, emote. And of course you've got some really cool World of Warcraft artwork in the back there. And it says World of Warcraft Cataclysm. And again, you connect this the same way. You just slip it into the one end, fold it over, and then clip it into place. And then that's what it looks like. Alright, so in the actual software, next thing we'll cover is software, because the SteelSeries engine plays a big part with using this keyboard, and especially also with using the key sets as well. So even though this keyboard only comes with about 4 key sets, it needs the software to actually realize what key set it's actually using at that specific time. So for instance, when you first connect this and you install the SteelSeries software, say you've got the standard key set in there, the SteelSeries engine will actually show the layout of the keyboard. So it will show the layout of the keyboard just as it is. Now from there, you can actually press any button on that layout, no matter which keyboard button it is, and actually start assigning macros to them. And the type of macros you can assign are like keypad, key press, launch applications, text macro, or you can disable the key completely. So it shows the layout, and you can completely customize every single key on the actual keyboard for macros. And of course, with certain keys that have those multiple layers, you can of course assign bar and padlock, second and third layers. So it does give you kind of endless possibilities of what you can configure your keyboard to do. And of course, macros, you don't have to configure just one key, you can configure multiple keys. And the good thing about this as well is that inside that configuring, you can not only record the keys, you can also record delays in key presses, as well as you can enter like a custom name for that basically macro you've just created, and also provide a tooltip so that when you're looking at the keyboard layout and you put your mouse over a key, it'll hover exactly what it does. So it'll pop up the little tooltip saying, this is for melee combat. So you can really basically customize the complete outer keyboard and name all the things as well. And of course, with this, you can also create multiple profiles. What multiple profiles mean is you can make one profile for, say, World of Warcraft. You can completely customize it if you want to what you like, and then you can make a second profile if you're playing a shooter. Say you're playing Medal of Honor, or you're playing Call of Duty, or you're playing some other first-person shooter, Battlefield. Then you can then customize the keyboard to exactly what you want, and have your profile as your World of Warcraft and your Battlefield as your Medal of Honor, and that way you can just swap profiles. Alright? And there's also a feature in the Steelseries software that allows you to actually say when you launch World of Warcraft, it'll then activate that specific profile. So you can actually tell it when a certain application or game is launched, a profile is then activated. So it's really cool and a really kind of endless customization when you think about it. Especially if you're playing multiple games, you can customize it exactly to your liking for each of those games. So it's pretty cool. Now it will pick up when you change the key set, so if you got the standard in there and you swap to the Medal of Honor, it'll then pick it up in the actual software. So it's really easy, really versatile, and of course you can also customize all the key sets as well. You don't have to use the predefined commands that are actually on there. If you don't want to, you can completely customize them as well. So it's pretty cool. Now the Steelseries software is very versatile and allows you to customize all this. Another thing the Steelseries software allows you to do, now if any of you know of the Zboard, and some of you probably will, some of you, if you're just coming to the Shift keyboard for the first time, may not know what the Zboard is. The Zboard is basically what started this line of keyboards that had interchangeable key sets. Now when the Shift came out, there was a lot of big talk of, will the Shift be compatible with previous Zboard's key sets? And the answer is sort of yes and no. Compatibility of the Zboard key sets depend solely on the Steelseries software. So it basically just depends on which games the developers and Steelseries have programmed into the Steelseries engine to work with the Shift keyboard. So at this current time, there is a list of compatible Zboard key sets, and the list only has 5 key sets. Now, if you've known about the Zboard or you've seen how many key sets there are for the Zboard, there are a ton of Zboard key sets. So to have only 5 key sets is a bit of a letdown, but at least it is 5, and at least it's not nothing. So that's the good part of that. So there are 5 compatible Zboard key sets, and I'm going to go through those now to show you what they look like when you plug them into the Shift keyboard. So I'm just going to move this World of Warcraft one for now, and we'll go through the Zboard key sets that are compatible. And if you don't know too much about the Zboard and you want to see more, I do have all the Zboard keyboards on my channel, so don't forget to check those out. Okay, so the first Zboard key set that is compatible is, of course, the World of Warcraft. So this is the original World of Warcraft key set. And this one is, of course, fully compatible with this board. So that is what it looks like. So it looks pretty cool. Next one is the second World of Warcraft key set. World of Warcraft Burning Crusade. And that is what that one looks like. Next one is World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah. There we go. That is that one. Wrath of the Lich King. And that's what that one looks like plugged in. Okay, so the next one is Aion. That's the Aion key set just there. And finally, the last key set that is compatible is the Starcraft 2 key set. Alright, so that's what that one looks like. So those are the only 5 compatible Z-boards that actually will work with the Shift keyboard. Basically, most of the Zboard key sets won't work at all. Like I said, it comes down to the Zboard software, the Steelseries engine, and unfortunately Steelseries didn't make all of them compatible. They did work and actually make some of them compatible, which was pretty cool of them. I mean, they could have easily just not made any Zboards compatible and just said Shift key sets only. But of course, that would have probably been a letdown, since there's only a couple of Shift key sets. Alright, so that's showing all the key set ranges of it. Now, let's go into quality of the keyboard. Now, if you're used to the Zboard, then you would have known what kind of quality the Zboard was. It was good, but it wasn't the absolute best, and it kind of lacked extra features. Well, the Steelseries Shift keyboard doesn't have that problem. It not only is a great quality board, you can feel it when you first even just set it up. It feels like good quality. It's got some handy features as well. Like, of course, it's got all those media keys and hotkeys you can program, as well as a completely customizable keyboard. And as for, again, quality of it, all your connectors are gold connected, so you can easily have really good connectivity when you plug it in. And for typing and everything else like this, Steelseries boasts that these rubber domes are actually made by special silicon, which boosts the life cycle of this keyboard to about 15 million keystrokes, which is a lot of keystrokes. And you're probably going to need every single one of them if you game a lot and you want to use this as your primary gaming keyboard. Typing with it feels really nice. It's really responsive, really easy to use. It does make a little bit more noise than, say, your everyday kind of gaming keyboard, just because it doesn't have those extra suppressors, because of course they got to swap the key sets in and out. So they don't have that extra layer that actually suppresses noise. So it does make some sound. But that does not affect how you use it, and it basically types really nice and easy to comfortable with, really nice to type with and everything. So it feels really nice. And of course, the most important thing is, yes, it feels good to game with. You can play any game with this. No matter what game you want to play, you can play with this keyboard. And of course, it's really easily to customize with all the macros and adjustments available for this keyboard. So that just makes it even better. Way better to play with, because you can just customize it to exactly the way you want. And of course, having the extra convenience headset jacks right on the keyboard, that is an awesome feature. You can plug that into your back computer and then plug your headset right into your keyboard. Really nice. And of course, also USB devices, flash drives, controllers, anything you want to plug in, plug right into the back. So really nice feature having those 2 extra USBs and the headset jack right there. Now, let us go just briefly into downsides of this keyboard. The first downside I'm going to have to mention is for the Steelseries software, the Steelseries engine. Now, overall, the Steelseries engine works well, does exactly what it is. What I found when I was testing this and using Steelseries engine quite extensively to not only test the Shift key sets, but also the Zboard key sets, occasionally the software would crash, occasionally it would have issues of freezing, and occasionally it would be, when you first plug the keyboard in or something like that, it wouldn't detect it until you close the software and reopened it. So it did have occasional issues. Not enough to me to say that it's a terrible software and that. It is a good software, it does the job, but it does crash occasionally. So there's probably a few bug fixes that could be done to the software. But overall, it does work as intended, and it works well. The next downside I would say about this is there's not much documentation on using the hotkeys. All the other customized features, that is fine. I mean, you go into the Steelseries software, really easy to do, everything like that. But on the fly macro recording using these hotkeys, there's not much documentation. The manual just mentions it. The back of the box just mentions it. On the Steelseries website, again, just mentions it. There's not much documentation on how to actually use these on the fly record. I pretty much had to just learn just by playing around and trial and error and just pressing buttons to see how it would record and everything like that. But they could use just a little bit more documentation on both that as well as the bar and pad functions, because obviously a 3-layered kind of keyboard with certain buttons, it probably needs a little bit of documentation just to show you how it works, how to use it and everything like that. And of course, the bigger downside of this keyboard is that there's not many key sets. Now with Zboard, if you're going from a Zboard, you know Zboard had a ton of key sets. It's pretty awesome, huge range of games you could go for. And when the Shift first came out, I thought, you know, man, we're going to get a whole range of Shift key sets. All the modern games are going to have their own kind of brand of key set, like Medal of Honor, like World of Warcraft, you know, like Call of Duty, like all of them would probably get a whole range of key sets. But unfortunately, you don't. The only Shift key sets released were these 4. No other key sets have been released, and I doubt Steelseries is going to release any more, since this is no longer one of their primary keyboards they are advertising. So it looks like hope of getting a huge range of Shift key sets is lost forever. So it looks like only these 4 key sets are coming out, and of course you have the addition of those 5 extra Zboard key sets that I showed before. But of course, the downside, of course, it would be awesome that if the actual Zboard key sets, all of them would work on the Shift. It would kind of make up for the fact of the kind of less Shift key sets available. But that's the way that Steelseries kind of came out with it, unfortunately. But you can still use these 4 key sets and the 5 Zboard key sets: Aion, Starcraft 2, World of Warcraft Burning Crusade, and World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King. I'll get it out eventually. So you can use those key sets quite easily with the Shift keyboard. So overall, very good quality gaming keyboard, very customizable, really easy to customize using the software. If you liked the Zboard and you played with the Zboard immensely with the thing, you're going to like the Shift. The Shift is just a lot better quality and has a few more extra configurable hotkeys and extras than the Zboard did, as well as extra ports and everything like that. So overall, great gaming keyboard, well recommended, really awesome piece of tech. That's about all I can say about this one. Thanks for watching, guys. I am Sharkie Gamer. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have heaps more gaming controllers and accessories up very shortly. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you would like to, and if you like this video, then hit that like button. Thanks for watching, guys.